So I want to look at number 12 and see if I can help you understand how that problem works, especially as we move toward the last question in that problem. If you look at the two sets of data they gave you, in mine they gave me 236 and 437 for my x and y values. But for all of you, the next chart they gave you, the only thing they did was switch the y values and the x values. So here I had 236 as x, and the second one I have 236 as y. 437 is x, 437 as y. So they ask you to run some numbers for both of them. I just want to run our basic statistics for the correlation information. So if I find the correlation coefficient, I'm going to use my x's first and then my y's. And remember, in this, it doesn't matter if I use x or y first for the Correl function. And it even says array 1, array 2, where you're going to see in a minute that it says known y's, known x's. But for this one, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do the same thing over here, and Excel's pretty smart. So if I type that in, you can see that it relatively looked and found the same things there. So the x's first and then the y's. The correlation coefficients are the same because it doesn't matter which one's x and which one's y. So now I'm going to find the slope. So I type in equals slope, and this time it specifies I want the y's first. Then I want the x's. And if you notice when I put the comma, it highlights this one. So I want the x's now. Fine. It's the same, which is kind of interesting. I copy, paste that in. That's the same too. For the y-intercept, I just type in intercept. It says my known y's first, and then my known x's. Copy that, move it here, and I get a different number. This is just kind of chance that these two values are the same. That normally does not happen. I want to look at this to explain why this is different. So I'm going to take my first one. I'm going to insert a scatter diagram. I'm going to move it over here so I can see them both at the same time. And then I'm going to right-click, add a trend line, and I'm going to display the equation and show the r-squared value. And you see that it does tell me, my machine's moving a little slow, it does tell me that the slope is 0.8846 and that the y-intercept is 1.4231. I'm going to do that over here as well, so I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to insert a scatter diagram. I'm going to move it over here. And when I right-click and add a trend line, here you can see that the graphs really are different. So I had a point here that was 3, well 3 is the same. Here I had x value of 2, y value of 4, but over here we've switched the numbers, so it's a y value of 4, an x value of 4, a y value of 2. So they just reversed. So my lines look different. It's not the same thing. If I tell it that I want to see the equation on the chart and the y-squared value, again, that just proves that point further, that if I reverse the x and y values, I'm going to get a different, almost always a different slope and y-intercept because I physically have different lines and they should look differently. So I should get a different value, usually of slope and y-intercept, and go from there.